Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. Let's get to the latest news. We have a lot of injury updates on Calfiori. Obviously, Saka and Declan Rice both went off with some knocks against Real Madrid. Are they going to be fit for the weekend? And most importantly, or more importantly, are they going to be fit for the Real Madrid return leg? We'll be talking about that one as well. And Gyokeres, what's the latest on him? Are we expecting a decision soon? And also, we are linked to a winger, another player from Newcastle, and also a defender. I think we are going to actually need a defender this transfer window because some players are leaving. Personally, for me, I'd like to keep more. I want us to add to the team, but there's still players who are going to leave, so we're going to need to replace them. But first, let's get to the latest injury news. And the first one is Calafiori. What's the latest on Riccardo Calafiori? According to Arteta, Riccardo Calafiori is progressing really well, but giving a timeline is difficult. He is in a good place. So we were told he returned to training the other day, a couple of days ago, but looks like he's not going to be fit for the Brentford game. I didn't have him in my lineup. I didn't expect him to be fit for that one. My hope is that he could be available for the Real Madrid game. As a second half substitute, I think he can help us, not even just defensively. Some people are saying start him ahead of Kivio against Real Madrid in the second leg. I don't think that is going to be the case. I don't think he's going to be fit enough to start that game. But wherever he comes on in that game, if he's fit, I think he's going to be very important. Whether he adds to our team, whether we start with a back four and then we get to a back five later on in the game. If you can bring on a Ben White or a Calfiori, that's great. But I think Calfiori is actually going to be very important in those, counter-attacking in the last 30 minutes, 35 minutes, depending on what the scoreline is going to be very important. We've seen this and he's scored some really important goals, the way he breaks and runs forward, makes some really good runs like in the middle, and Odegaard picks him out. I think that's like his goal against PSV. I think it's going to be very important. Tierney has been doing the job well. No problem with Tierney coming on in that game as well. Depending on how the game is, if it's still 3-0 with 30 minutes to go, put all of the defenders on that pitch. But let's see how it goes. But hopefully we'll be fit, for at least the last 5 weeks of the season, the last 4 or 5 Premier League games. And if you go through in the Champions League, very important situation. You're going to be in your semi-final, a couple of games and a final. Hopefully, we need Calfiori to be fit for then. So that's the list on him. He's picked up 3 injuries this season, 3 or 4, and 3 of them have been during the international break, so we've been very unlucky with that one. Next up, let's talk about this guys. So obviously Saka and Declan Rice both went off against Real Madrid. Saka, by the way, I don't even think I talked about him enough after that Real Madrid game. That guy, he was half fit. The previous day I was listening to people saying, they'd have Rodrigo in the starting 11 ahead of Saka, and, Saka is not fit enough, don't start him. I had that from some Arsenal fans. That guy went out there half fit and he absolutely destroyed Alaba. He put in 3 or 4 very good crosses. If we had someone there to tap them in, he could have had 3 assists in that game. And on top of that, he's the one who won both free kicks for us for Declan Rice to score. Camavinga and Alaba fouling him, and that's when he picked up that injury against Camavinga. That's how important Saka is. Even he didn't score, he didn't assist, but he won both free kicks for us to get those goals. So Saka is incredible. So there was a bit of fear again, going down again with an injury. But good news is that despite being substituted early against Real Madrid, Bukayo, Saka and Declan Rice are fit to face Brentford. Fantastic news. Now, do I want them to face Brentford? No. I don't want them to face Brentford. I want Rice to be rested for the Real Madrid game. I want Saka to be rested for the Real Madrid game. Those two alongside Timber, those are the 3 main ones that I want to be rested. Now, do I think they're going to be rested? I think Rice will start, and I think Saka maybe will be on the bench. For me, I'll just have them on the bench, both of them. There's some other players who can play there. Sterling can play there. Nwaneri can play there. Midfield-wise, Merino can start there. We've been seeing him complete games in midfield. There's other players who can play there. So for me, I'd be resting those guys. We can't be able to beat Brentford without Saka and Rice on the pitch. So let's see what happens. I'd expect Arteta to start Rice and take him off, and then maybe bring on Saka. Hopefully, we don't need to bring on Saka in this game. Hopefully, just leave him home. He wasn't even in my lineup yesterday when I did the preview. I didn't even include him on the bench. Just keep him at home. So that's good news there. Need those players badly. Probably your best 2 players in that game against Real Madrid. And then Kai Havertz. How long is Kai Havertz going to be out for? So according to Arteta, once again, hopefully we can have him back before the end of the season. So again, that is good. I've seen people saying we don't need him, but a simple question, really. If Odegaard is tired or Merino is tired, the last 20 minutes to go in a Champions League semi-final, second leg Champions League, quarterfinal, second leg Champions League semi-final, who would you rather bring on? Would you rather bring on, Raheem Sterling? Would you rather bring on Havertz? I know what most answers would be. And you'd want Havertz there now. Havertz does this season, especially, has missed some really terrible chances that he's missed this season. But in terms of that fight and energy, like if you're 3-0 up, Havertz is the kind of player I want that in that game. Like if I could bring in Havertz against Real Madrid in the last 25 minutes, 30 minutes, I'd be so happy. He's the kind of guy he'll fight for the ball. He always runs more than everyone else. He's always going to put on those tackles, aerial deals. That's the kind of player I want in that game. So, and the experience as well. We need someone to score for us in the Champions League final like he did for Chelsea. We might need that. And so hopefully he can be fit before the end of the season. If that is the case as well, it's huge bonus because we don't want every one of our players to be missing 3 months, 4 months now. I think it's still our top scorer up until now anyway. So that's the latest in terms of the injury news. Now let's get to transfer news. So according to Fabrizio Romano on Viktor Gyökeres, Viktor Gyökeres will leave Sporting this summer and he will soon have to make a decision. Available for around 65 million euros. We already said that's around 50 million pounds, 50 to 60 million pounds. Total package with add-ons, which is less than release clause. Andrea Berti is a big fan and has tracked him for over a year now. That is huge news. Huge news. You already wanted the player, but not as much as before. I think the players that we really wanted more were Sesko and Isaac. For me, Gyökeres has always been my number one target. Even last season when you're linked to Isaac, I said I want Gyökeres first. And since last season, Gyökeres has had another tremendous season. And this season, he showed himself in the Champions League as well, scoring a hat-trick against Man City. We beat them 5-1, but Gyökeres in that game was still very good. He could easily have had 2 goals. He actually gave Saliba and Gabriel a tough time. So that is a player I'd really want at Arsenal. So for 50 million, that's like the way Man City got Haaland for like 50, 60 million. That is a bargain. You cannot get strikers like that for that kind of money. Right now, as you know, if you want to sign Isaac, 100+ million. And there's not even too many other strikers you can talk about. There's others that it's impossible to sign. If you want even Haaland right now from Man City, you're talking 90, 100 million. You're not going to be able to get him. So Viktor Gyökeres for that kind of money, that's great. But as Fabrizio says, he'll need to make a decision very soon. Now, which kind of decision will he make? Is it only Arsenal and Man United that want him, or will Chelsea come in for him? Will Liverpool come in for him? Will Barcelona, Real Madrid come in for him? We'll have to wait. Now, I wouldn't expect Man City to come in for him. I wouldn't expect Real Madrid to be linked to him. If it's between us and the other English teams, I'd be confident of getting him. So, listen, a good example, those Saka crosses that we've just been talking about, if Gyökeres is there, he has 2 goals in that first half very easily. He knows how to, sniff those chances inside the box, and it's powerful as well. It's getting someone to get those runs in behind. I'm very patient with Odegaard. I feel like Gyökeres joins this team and Odegaard next season. Both him and Saka will have like 15+ assists, both of them. Those assists to Gyökeres will absolutely enjoy himself. Now, he might not score 50 goals like he has been scoring for Sporting, but again, as I said in the last time we talked about Gyökeres, even if he gets us half of those, that's more than we've ever had, like in years and years and years, maybe since Van Persie or something. So that would be great for us. And as they're going to say, Andrea Berti is a huge admirer, so that one helps as well. So fantastic. That's why we brought in Andrea Berti to help us, get deals like this across the line. Next up, let's talk about Benjamin Sesko. What happens to Benjamin Sesko? According to David Ornstein, Arsenal have done a significant amount of work on Benjamin Sesko over a long period. My colleague Ghana Blog detailed recently that Arsenal have some reservations, so perhaps Arteta and Berti are prioritizing the others. That doesn't mean to say Sesko is out. So they did say that Edu had done a lot of groundwork and on getting this deal done. He was so close to joining Arsenal last transfer window, but he didn't end up joining. He ended up staying at Leipzig. So that is a player that we had talked about a lot. If we ended up not getting Gyökeres and Isaac, Sesko would end up as an Arsenal player. But I guess Andrea I'd like to be in that room when they're having that conversation. Did Andrea Bata come in and say, listen, now we need to go to the next level. We need to get Gyokeres. We need to, be linked to this kind of players. Why are you letting Gyokeres go to Man United? They're like 19th on the table. We are up there fighting for titles. We can convince him to join here. And Andrea Bata likes those kind of strikers. If you see the strikers he signed for Atletico Madrid, it's this kind of strikers who are coming in from a different country, Portugal, Netherlands and stuff. Would be big for us if we can get Gyökeres in this Arsenal team. Man, when was the last time we signed a striker like that who scored like 100 goals in 2 seasons? Is it like Aubameyang and Lacazette? That was a long time ago, man. We've never been able to. And those days when we're signing a striker, you find we don't have good defenders. When you're signing good midfielder, you find we don't have a good goalkeeper. That has always been the case with Arsenal. But this time around, having a very good goalkeeper, having a very good defense, that midfield that destroyed Real Madrid the other day, and then you add to that team with Gyokeres, and there's a few young players emerging like Dauman and obviously Nwaneri and Lewis Kelly. Like, things would be so positive heading into next season. Just imagine if we keep on progressing in the Champions League, like the good mood that would be there if we heading into next season. That would be amazing. These players would want to join us. But the Sesko one, this one I think will be kind of shelved for now if we are more serious on Gyokeres. So, and they'll be around the same price. Next up, let's talk about Dean, the defender from Bournemouth, the chill guy, the chill celebration guy. Arsenal are joined by Liverpool and Chelsea as the leading contenders to sign Bournemouth defender Dean Huijsen. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And I've held talks with this camp in the past week. Mikel Arteta and Andrea Bata are huge fans of the Spaniard. So he's from Spain. He's a young defender. He's 19 years of age. He's a centre back. He's been doing well for them this season. I think he has played for Roma, if I'm not wrong. I think he's played for Roma before, but this season he's been playing for Bournemouth. I think that goal that he's celebrating there, I think it was against Tottenham or someone. He's had a magnificent season. Bournemouth have had a magnificent season, but obviously the last 5-6 games they've dropped off, but they've had a very good season. And do I think you're going to need a defender? I actually think so. So for me, ideally, I would keep Ben White and Timber for sure. I would keep Gabriel and Saliba for sure. I would keep Calfiori and Lewis Kelly for sure. So those are 6. The others, it's 50-50. We don't know if Kivo is going to stay. We don't know if Tin is going to leave already. We don't know if Zinchenko is going to stay. And anyway, most fans agree that Zinchenko and Calfiori are better going forward. So 6-7 defenders. We don't want a situation next season where once again Gabriel is playing every single game, Timber is playing every single game. We've been unlucky with the Tomiyasu injuries and Ben White injuries. If we had all of those guys fit, we already have the best defense in the world. If you have all of those guys fit, that would be amazing, man. Because Tomiyasu was like one of the best defenders one-on-one, marking people. And now having Timber doing the same as well, that would be magnificent. And we have such a good defense. And again, I think we are so unlucky because if Tomiyasu was fit if Timber was fit last season, he plays in that Liverpool away game, we pick up a win instead of a draw when, Zinchenko was marking Salah. Some situations this season where, at the back post where Partey was having to play right back and then Aston Villa scored 2 goals in like 5 minutes. Tomiyasu is there, Timber is there, we don't concede that goal. So such situations need good backups, you need good defenders on the bench. And for me, I'd actually be happy to keep one of Kivio Zinchenko, one of them to stay in the team, and then you just need one defender. I think we need 8 defenders in that team. That also allows us sometimes to play Calafiori a bit forward, or play him as a centre back, or play Lewis Kelly in his actual midfield position. So that's a defender being linked to, but you're not the only ones. He's going to be linked to many teams, and I think they don't think this is a priority. So unless he's still available after we sign our striker and our winger, then and the midfield, obviously you're being linked to Zubimendi, then this one could be one that you're watching out for. Speaking of wingers, a wide attack has been on Arsenal's agenda for some time, and I do hear left winger is a position they're considering this summer. We all know Nico Williams is a player Mikel Arteta admires, that, but that doesn't mean it will happen. There'll be many names in the frame. For example, Arsenal are one of the multiple top clubs who like Anthony Gordon, but again, it doesn't mean much unless something develops, and we have no indications of that yet. Another Newcastle player. Gordon is amazing. Gordon has been brilliant since his Everton days. He's having a suspension right now and an injury. But the way those players, I want us to sign Gyokeres. Yes, I want us to sign Nico Williams. If we go for another attacker in the summer again or in January, there's some players, that kind of player that I want. I said it last time, and I had Sonodoi, Avisa, Ambuemo, Gordon, Adama Traore would be an example, but his finishing is not great. So this kind of players up front, the player who's going to just come on for the last 50 minutes and just run, is going to give you energy throughout the game and not stand and counter attacks. Elanga, those kind of players. I'd want a player like that, one of them, even if it's just a player off the bench, a player who can take on players numerous times and just get past his fullback like 10 times in like one half. That is the kind of player we want as well. Someone to bring off the bench for impact. We've not had that in a while. So I'd like a player like that. But Gordon is not going to cost you 20 million. Hudson-Odoi must cost you 30, between 30 and 40, same with Elanga. But Gordon will not cost you that. Gordon will probably cost you like 60 million. So again, is that our priority? I prefer Nico Williams. So there is that. But Gordon, as David Johnston says, Gordon is another player who's been linked to us. Then this one, final news. Spurs confirmed former Arsenal CEO Vinay will join the club's board as a CEO in the summer. The 44-year-old spent 14 years across different roles with Arsenal, will now join Tottenham. So, hey, he moved on. He doesn't have, yes, he was part of Arsenal for all those years, but he's moved on. Yeah, he's moved on. I've seen a lot of people saying he's a traitor. Why is he going to Tottenham? No, I don't think he has that affiliation with Arsenal. I don't think like he's an Arsenal fan. This is a business. At the end of the day, it's like George Graham coaching both teams, or William Gallas playing for both teams, or Adebayo playing for both teams, or David Bentley playing for both teams. I don't think there's an affiliation there. I don't see someone like Arteta leaving Arsenal and going to join Tottenham as the manager. I don't see Saka leaving Arsenal going to play for Tottenham. Those ones have some kind of connection with Arsenal. But the board and all that, I guess it's just an opportunity for him, and he feels like it's great for him. All the best to him. And for me right now, I'm very excited that you've gotten Andrea Berta and you're going to change around the board, and you're giving new contracts to, Arteta's assistants and all that. We are looking to get a striker finally. We are dreaming about doing something crazy in the Champions League. Right now, I'm excited. Heading into the transfer window. I'm happy where we are. So, yeah, and I don't really care what Tottenham do anyway. There are miles and miles. I don't think Vina is going to be the one that is going to close that 40-point gap between us and Tottenham. If it does, well, but I don't think so. So, I am happy right now the way things are going at Arsenal. So, all the best to him, I guess, but not to Tottenham. But yeah, whatever happens, happens. But that is the latest news on him. And the latest on all the injuries and the contract situations and the players that we are linked to. Yesterday, we talked about the contract situations with Nwaneri and Ateta's assistants, and the major change you've made in our board. Make sure to check that one out. And also the preview for Arsenal Brentford. As of now, thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.